Welcome to Pregame Power Hour, where we pack an hour of sports updates into minutes. My name is Cesar Rodriguez, and today we're going to be powering through the sports world. Hello, welcome. As you can see, we're pretty low budget here in the studio. Anyways, let's get started, baby. Watched the game last night, and I have to say, I know it's just a showcase. I know that, but the game felt a little underwhelming. I'm not going to lie. I took a look at the box score because I think I stopped watching in the third quarter and it was also still pretty underwhelming. I'm not sure if this is normal for Olympic basketball because I don't remember watching in the past. I didn't watch them when they played in China, but everyone seemed to have just like really low stats. I think the highest points we saw was 12 points, and that was like Anthony Edwards. All right, let me pull up the box score and let's take a look at this together because, like I said, it was nothing crazy. It was a lot of like passing the ball. It was definitely everybody got their own share, but we didn't see any like stars really just take the game away, which I'm surprised. Okay, so the starters were D-Book, LeBron, Joel, Steph, and Drew Holiday. Steph had 12 and Drew had 11. I'm surprised LeBron only had 7 points. I'm not going to lie, I feel like a player like LeBron, I understand he's starting to get into his 40s, but only 7 points is surprising. It looks like the bench was led by Anthony Edwards with 13 points, and AD had 10. Okay. I don't know, but we'll see what happens when the real games start. I know they have Serbia on the 28th. I want you guys to take a look at this roster. I'm going to put the roster on the screen if you can see it. As I'm looking at the Team Serbian roster, I'm not going to lie, they have a lot of similar style names. I'm not throwing any shade, but this is what their roster sounds like. So, of course, they got Nikola Jokic, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Nikola Jovic, Vanga Marinkovic, and then Ogden Dobrik. And there are probably about 5 other names on here that I don't even want to attempt to pronounce, but they all end with the letter C. This reminds me of that video that came out a couple weeks ago with Jokic playing a pickup 3v3 game. I'm going to put the video up on the screen here. But yeah, I remember seeing people in the comments hating about this video because they were saying he looked really skinny and out of shape, and he shouldn't miss shots like this. Comment down below how you think Nikola Jokic and his Serbian brothers are going to do this Olympics. So yeah, let's move on. Next topic. All right, so going back to the NBA, let's talk big news. This is also, this is still kind of like a same type of topic. It's still basketball, but I need to cover this because this is big news and maybe this is important. DeMar DeRozan leaving Chicago, going to the Kings. What a crazy move. I'm not surprised. Actually, maybe it's not so crazy. I'm from Chicago. I never really was a Bulls fan, but I just know that he was kind of a pretty good asset for a team, even though we weren't very good. We barely made the play-in tournament last season, almost made the playoffs. It would have been awesome if we actually got into the playoffs. I'm over here throwing we around like I'm a part of the team. Listen, next year, I'm going to be focused on the Bulls. Bulls Nation, rise up. Let's go. Matis Bazelis. I'm excited to watch him. It's going to be a fun year. It's going to be a good year. Maybe I'll go to my first Bulls game. And shout out Bulls Nation. Let's go, baby. I don't know what the hell that was, but let's get back on topic here. For those who don't know, yes, 5-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA player, 1-time Rookie of the Year All-Team, 4-time NBA champion Klay Thompson has left the Golden State Warriors. This is crazy news. He's been on the team since his first year, but he left the Warriors to join the Dallas Mavericks. Let's go. Let's go. Good for him. We'd like to see some change. He hasn't been playing very good. I don't know if you guys knew this, but he shot 0 for 10 in an elimination game. But yeah, honestly, it's a pretty big move. The Splash Bros are no more. We'll see what happens. If you guys want to know the reasoning why he left, actually, it's a coincidence because I made a YouTube short about it. I'll link it right in the description below. And he basically talks about in his first press conference on why he left. It's actually pretty good. I recommend it. Been getting a lot of views lately, and yeah. Bronny James and LeBron James become the first ever NBA father-son duo. We are witnessing history in the making, folks. Although right now this whole topic is kind of receiving a ton of backlash because people are saying that Bronny should have stayed in college, that he should have waited another year or two, and people are saying that this is a case of nepotism. What do you guys really think? Make sure to leave a comment down below and state your opinion about this because I feel like it can go both ways. Something about Bronny is I do think he has a ton of potential that he just needs to grow into. I could see him being good in 3 to 4 years potentially. He is a lot smaller than his dad was, but who knows, maybe he'll grow. He is still still pretty young. He also has said that he wants to be kind of a different type of player, similar to a defensive-minded player. But it's just something we have to wait and see. Also, LeBron signing a 2-year deal. I think that LeBron's going to retire after these 2 years. I think he's going to play with his son for the 2 on the Lakers, and he's just going to call it quits. I mean, he's going to be 41, 42. If I'm not mistaken, it's going to be crazy when he retires, man. Do you like sports news, sports shoes, sports shows, sports bows? If you like sports in general, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and check out our Instagram. Please, bye. So now it's time to switch sports and switch to a new topic because it's time to talk about the NFL. Alrighty, the NFL draft happened a couple months ago. We got guys like Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison, J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix, Drake May, and those are just to name a few. I've been an NFL fan almost my entire life, and I've always rooted for the Bears. I've always rooted mainly for hometown teams in any situation. I'm kind of a fraud when it comes down to basketball. This is kind of my first year with knowledge on it. And what I mean is, this was my first year gathering background information on teams and players and really keeping up with trades and everything that's going on around the league. But the NFL is something that has always been hand in hand with me. Since I was a little kid, this is what I've always loved. I love the NFL. You know, I had the dream every little kid had was to become an NFL player. Didn't work out for me, you know. Height and everything else did not work out for me. I played football in high school. That is as far as we got. So, as I was saying, NFL draft just happened. A lot of college athletes going professional. Really excited to see what Caleb Williams has got for us. I think Caleb Williams is that light in the dark we needed. I know Justin Fields. I was a big fan of Justin Fields, but it's at the end of the day, it is a business, so I understand from the Bears standpoint what they had to do, what they did. I didn't really watch him too much in college, to be honest, but I also was part of that hate train where I didn't want Caleb Williams on the Bears until I watched his college tape. And when I watched his college tape and I actually watched the type of athlete and the quarterback he is, I was like, oh my goodness, this quarterback is insane. I think Caleb Williams is going to be a Super Bowl champion at some point in his career, and if it's not with the Bears, it's going to suck, but I think he has what it takes. People might flame this comment because we haven't even seen him take a pro snap, but I do feel like he's going to be a future Hall of Famer. You can clip this now, so when he does become a Hall of Famer, you can come back to this little talk show and you can be like, wow, this guy was right. All right, let's move on from the draft and talk about the Kansas City Chiefs and can they three-peat this. In all honesty, I am not a Chiefs fan, but I would love to see that happen. I think witnessing history is something awesome, and this is the good side of history, in my opinion. A lot of the defense stayed. Frank Clark stayed on the D-line. He played a beast of a game in the Super Bowl. Trent McDuffie's coming back. Isaiah Pacheco's back. Drew Tranquill's back. They got Carson Wentz as a backup. Man, the Carson Wentz era was really crazy. I don't know if many of you remember, but him on the Eagles was something special. Until he had the injury, then Nick Foles came in and stepped up, beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Honestly, one of the greatest Super Bowls I've ever watched in my life, too. I still remember watching the drive. Tom Brady, fourth quarter Brady, steps back. Brandon Graham knocks the ball out of his hands, fumble, recovered by the Eagles. Eagles go on to win the game. What an amazing Super Bowl, especially Philadelphia's first ever. And Nick Foles, man. Nick Foles, what a game he played as well. And we can't talk about that Super Bowl without talking about the Philly special. I remember watching that live as well. I remember sitting. I saw Nick Foles do that thing where he's like fake audibling around and he makes his way right behind the right tackle. I remember watching him do that, and I remember seeing this play. I think it was like, I can't remember where I saw it, but prior to that, I saw that. I was like, wait, this looks like he's gonna do something. Like, at the time, I don't know what it was called. So I watched them do that and I was like, wow. And that was, from what I remember, that was before halftime 2, I think. Like I said, one of the best Super Bowls I think I've ever watched, especially because Nick Foles, backup quarterback, gets put into such a situation like that and beats the greatest quarterback of all time. Couple more things before we end here. Joe Burrow somewhat recently talked about getting rid of the preseason and adding an extra bye week. In the middle of the season, I think he said that every team would have the bye week off as well. I think this idea is really good. I just recently was talking about the preseason with one of my buddies, and I feel like the preseason, I don't want to say it's pointless because it's definitely good for teams to figure out their rookies when they first draft them. For example, we get to take a look at Caleb Williams early, Marvin Harrison. I like the big draft picks, J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix, Jaden McDaniels. A lot of good talent you get to see early on in preseason. And it's not always just the rookies too. It could be a lot of the time if you sign a guy during the offseason that maybe is just going to be a role player. You really get to take a look at the type of players people can be in the preseason. I think just recently we got rid of the 4th game, and now it's only 3 games. I think week 1 is a bye week, or the last week is a bye week, sorry. But I know the preseason, I think, is getting less and less valued as a whole, and I think NFL fans and maybe players, Joe Burrow, like I said, has put his input. They make it 18 weeks with 2 bye weeks. That comment's been getting a lot of support lately, and I back it up. I think it'd be awesome. More games is always fun to watch. What do you guys think in the comments below about that? Getting rid of the preseason, adding an extra bye week, adding more games. I think it'd be awesome. And that's going to wrap up this action-packed episode of Pre-Game Power Hour. This is our first episode ever. If there's any changes that you guys want us to make, or if you want them to be longer, if you want them to be shorter, if you want me to paint the table brown, blue, probably not blue, if you want me to paint anything in the background, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon to stay updated with all our latest episodes. Until next time, peace.